This is I Only Touch Greatness Remix. Scan the code and follow.
Your homegirl you went to school with, that's cool, but did she tell you about your sister and your cousin thought I wasn't?
Thought it wasn't.
I heard that. I always say this to this day. How was it? And I think you did have a little bit more shine on that song than Pocket Shock. Like how was that? And how was Pocket Energy in the studio?
What was crazy is when we recorded that, Pac had already moved to Los Angeles, so he had, Shock made the beat, and he was in the studio with Pac in L.A. But then the reels and everything, they brought it back up to the Bay to get my verse. So Shock was in the studio with me, but Pac wasn't in the studio. But Shock actually, I appreciate Shock because he really produced my vocals. A lot of producers just make beats, right?
Right.
And then they just say go ahead and rap. But Shock is a musician and a producer, and he actually, coached me to make sure that my voice, pitch up right here and don't say that, shorten that word and drop it, like, you know what I mean? Like, why don't you change that because of this? And I actually listened to his direction. Like, I wrote the verse, but the way that I delivered it initially was probably a little more raunchy and street. And he helped me clean it up to make it what it became. You know what I mean?
Right.
Every time I hear the line about I once got busy in a Burger King bathroom, I always get this story of me getting busy in a handicapped bathroom on a Princess cruise.
Yeah.
I was on the way to Hawaii and I was banging the chick in the handicapped bathroom. And now every time that part comes on, I'm reminded of this chick on the fucking cruise.
Well, a funny story. One time we did a show, and right after the show, this chick, I don't even know how it happened, but I guess she wanted to get banged in the bathroom. So he pulls her, she follows him, or he leads her into the bathroom with the whole crowd from the show following behind. And so he's in the bathroom stall and he's banging her, and everybody's leaning over, start going, "Go Humpty, go Humpty, go Humpty, go Humpty."
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I was the touring life too of just being there, like just that. And one of your favorite memories of y'all too. What was one of your favorite memories on tour? And
Man, just the camaraderie, between the different groups, because, obviously, I don't know how it is now with the younger groups because I don't really tour much with younger acts. Normally when we go out, we do like the legacy or legendary tours, with your Ice Cubes, your MC Hammers, your Tone Locs. Like, we have a show May 8th in Louisiana with Tone Loc and Tag Team. But those are the type of lineups that I'm normally with. But I just remember back then.
That's pretty
back
legendary.
then we, whether it was Public Enemy or Heavy D or MC Light, Big Daddy Kane, we kind of looked out for each other, and it was like a brotherhood. Like, we would eat our dinners in the cafeteria together. Like, you walk in the cafeteria, sit down next to Flavor Flav or Kwame or whoever's, or Two Live Crew, Mr. Mix. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? And we eat, and just we were all together.
What would you say your personal highlight is?
You mean as far as what?
Like your career, or like maybe a moment in your life that you remember them that stands out?
One of my moments when I was like, okay, so growing up, like I said, I used to have like all Run DMC posters on my wall. I was a hip hop just maniac, right? I had a whole wall of Run DMC shit, from the album covers to the Word Up magazines and all of that shit, right?
Right.
So, once we're like, I just remember I was in LA for something, and I'm walking out of the airport, and walking towards me and walking in the airport was Run for Run DMC. And I was like, oh shit, it's Run. And so he's walking and he stops and he looks at me. He's like, yo, he was like, ain't you the kid that rapped on Run? I mean, on I Get Around?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. And he was like, shit was dope. And I was like,
perfect.
I was like, that was my kill me now moment. I did it.
What about sports franchise? Do you have a favorite sports franchise? Like
The 49ers.
There you go, 49ers.
Good choice. Good choice. Good choice. What do you think of what do you think of new rap?
I think of who? New rap?
New rap. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's new rap is like all rap. It's some bullshit and it's some dope shit. You know what I mean? That's just it's always gonna be that. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, hip hop is really built, was from the very beginning from the youth movement, right? So the youth are always gonna drive and control what hip hop is. And as it grows, it evolves and it moves and they use it the way that they want to use it. So I say that to say is when I got into hip hop first, you know, from Sugar Hill Gang and Treacherous 3 and all of that,
right.
You know, you fast forward, you know, 5, 6, 7 years later to EPMD, Rakim and us, it was totally different. And they were probably looking at us like, what is this? This is not the shit we used to do. You know what I mean? It wasn't, you know, it wasn't that
personality. And y'all did not sound the same.
right. And then, you know, and then you fast forward from us, even some of the stuff in I guess like by the early 2000s and mid 2000s, like with Jay-Z and all that, that was the subject matter and things started to change a little bit. But I think that, you know, the basic elements of the hip hop kind of remained throughout, right? There still was a lot of break beats and this, that, and the other. I think what changed, the one thing that I would say that I don't like about current rap, and it's no fault of the rapper themselves, it's the industry and the money that was made, is when it became $1 billion industry, then the labels and the big machines kind of dictated what would be allowed. And so that's where, if something was popular, like when 50 Cent when he became the shit, the label's like, we need another one of that. And people wanted, you know, we trying to get out the hood. So they gonna make, you know, and they'll make something to sound exactly like that. So we got to a point where, you know, now sometimes I can turn on some new rap and I can't tell the difference between one or the other because they all make the same shit. Right. Yeah. And I'm not shitting on it. It's like, but it sounds the same. But when I can say that, but still I can tell which ones are good, you know, because the ones that are really good will kind of cut through. I'll be like, it's the same shit, but who is that? Because that's interesting. Right.
Yeah.
So talent cuts through, but I don't have a problem with what the youngsters are doing because it's their music. You know, they have a right to interpret it and do it the way that they want to do it. And for me, you know, I'm the way that I feel like that I've kind of been able to manage and stay in this industry and survive is that willing to accept change and be willing to pivot. Right. So, you know, I can hear the new shit and I can borrow the parts of it that I like and the stuff that I don't, I just leave it alone.
Right. And also, man, who since we're talking about this too, who do you think right now as like one of the newest MCs right now that got your respect? Like what are one of the new age era of artists?
I'll say somebody who got my respect and really mainly because of a song is Lil Baby. You know, right after the George Floyd thing and he made that song, I forget what it's called. It's the one he performed at the Grammy.
Yeah.
What's the name of that song?
It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember it.
But you know the one I'm talking about, right?
I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, so I gained a lot of respect. Huh?
There's a hell of a performance.
Yeah, bigger picture. So he gained my respect when he put that song out.